So adjusting our lens on people with disabilities, and we're going to watch one of my favorite videos. Hopefully it will work for us. All right.
Hi Stephen, you ready to go?
Hey, Elsie. How are you?
Good,
to
thanks.
see you.
How are you?
Oh, I didn't know you,
I'm Stephen. And she supports me.
Elsie, you're such an angel to be doing this work. You must be so patient. Well done anyway, yeah? I'll see you later, okay?
What's that about?
Well, some people seem to think there's something special about supporting people with disabilities just to do the same things that everyone else does.
Oh, how interesting. I really need some toilet rolls.
Should we go to the shop before we go to the cinema?
Yeah.
Hello, young man. You've been doing your shopping? Well done you. What have you got?
Toilet rolls.
Wow, you have bought your own toilet rolls. You must feel so proud of yourself. You are an inspiration. I am so inspired by you.
Is this for real?
I just think some people find it hard to understand that people with disabilities can do things independently.
For fuck's sake.
Well, really, I do not think that sort of language is appropriate.
Sorry?
I don't think it's appropriate for someone like you to use language like that. It's not appropriate.
Explain that one to me.
When you have a disability, especially a visually recognisable one like Down syndrome, I think sometimes people see you as an eternal child and they see you doing things like drinking alcohol, smoking, swearing, and they just get upset about it.
Well, that's fucking weird.
Hi guys, how are you?
Okay, thanks. 2 tickets to Born Again, please.
Born Again, that'll be £7.
Stephen's paying.
Oh right, £7. Thank you. Here's your £3 change.
That's my money, my change.
Right, sorry. Okay, so that's £1, £2, and that's £3 change in total. Keep that safe, okay? Here's your 2 tickets. Oh, here's your tickets, okay? Well done. Enjoy the film. Oh, wait, guys, did you manage to get your van into the disabled parking space?
I don't drive.
Don't you hate it when people use those spaces when they don't need them?
No, we walked.
Oh look, there he is.
Hi, Steve.
All right.
See you guys later.
You want to come on?
Yeah, let's go see the movie. What a day.
Bad day, honey?
There's some strange people out there. Cheers.
Cheers.
Am I allowed to drink this?
Yeah, why not?
Cheers.
Okay. What do you guys think? I apologize about the language. I forgot to preface it with the language. Anybody unmute and want to comment? Please feel free.
I just want one of those beers.
I mean, come on. Is it Friday yet? Anybody? Thoughts?
Yeah, I love this video. I've seen it before. It's just, when I first saw it the first time, and even now I love to see it because it just reminds you every day of the stereotypes they have to face when they're going out. Why are they looked at differently for doing something that we all do anyway? So I just love it because it's like a good reminder.
Yes, that's Lakeelia, right? Thank you.
Yes.
I would say,
Yes.
Becky, this is Ruben. I would say, Becky, prior to me working in this industry, I can honestly admit that I was one of those persons that when I saw a person that had a disability or if they were more specifically Down syndrome, I always thought they were the cutest, in the the cutest persons in the world, and I always treated them, not treated them, but yeah, to be honest, treated them as they were child, or like make child talk language with them, not in a disrespectful way, but now that I look at it now, I'm like, wow, that was very disrespectful. But now I'm very strong advocate for them and ensuring that others don't do the same thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that video is very true.
It is. And I've told you guys before, I thought I was person-centered. I wasn't. Done some of the same things, and it's really unintentional. We don't mean this, and neither do our staff or the people. It's just like you said, Ruben, thanks for sharing that, until you change, you're told or you see a different side of things. You don't mean to do it. We're dealing with good people who have the best intentions. They just got to think differently, right? And that's the mind shift is the biggest thing probably that struggle that we have a lot of times for our folks. So what is, let's see, let me say, what are the core responsibilities to the individuals you serve, right? If anybody wants to just type some in there, Carrie, I can't see my chat, but if you could read them off, what do you think?
Will do. And Becky, change your display settings.
Okay. If I must. Okay. Swap. Hey, how about that? Better?
Beautiful. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'm monitoring the chat now.
Okay. Well, and we'll speed up because I don't think I have as much time as I normally do on this PowerPoint. But your purpose to the folks we serve is to assist those who need support to lead independent and quality lives and to participate fully in their communities. One of the things I've been reading about nationally is just kind of changing the role and moving into like a life coach for our folks, right? We're having to shift. And if you have people that have been doing this for 30 years, it's a hard shift for them, right? But we want them not to depend on us, but to lead individual independent lives. And they've got to learn how to do that, right? So we want individuals to live lives that look like the life that we live every single day, right? So we know that you guys are a critical role in individuals' lives. They cannot, some of you are the only folks, right, that the folks supported have. I mean, your family, right? And you're evolving from that caregiver piece into a mentor, a teacher, um, typo, a manager, a champion for them, right? A companion. They're telling you secrets, a confidant, right? And more. You're everything to the people we serve. And I cannot stress enough that you guys are superheroes. You really are. You guys in residential and day and folks helping people with independent living skills and our employment folks, you're changing their lives every single day, whether you feel like it or not. And we're up against big barriers with policies and what's new and what we can do and what we can't do and who's going to fund it and all of this. And you're still changing people's lives every single day, whether you feel like you are or not. I say a lot of times at day trainings, and you'll hear it at residential, every time staff opens their mouth, it's typically something that is a training piece of information that you're doing for that individual, right? You're telling them what to do. You're praising them. You're telling them maybe how to stay safe. But every single time you're offering a piece of yourself to them and you are helping them be different every single day. And if we could get everyone to feel that way and know the importance of what you're doing every single day, it would be great, because I know some people are really defeated a lot of times. And there's a lot of challenges. So I want to recognize that too. But let's think about this. What do we believe and think? Okay. Do we believe that the individuals we serve are our equal? Do we believe that we're non-judgmental? I mean, I can say I know I have been in the past, right? Do we allow the individual to make choices, even if they are risky, right? The opportunity to make mistakes and all of that, that's a different PowerPoint, right? But it's hard. It's hard to let our folks make choices that are risky. Do we assume that the individual needs help prior to them asking? Are we anticipating their needs? We know a lot of times families have done that, right? And that's I think a natural thing for families. They're doing the best they can. They're not the professionals, except in the person. They don't know, necessarily that, it could limit speech if you just anticipate everything that a person needs and not have the individual actually ask for it. They're doing the best they can, right? Are we acting as a caregiver or a supporter only, right? Do we speak plainly and avoid jargon and sing-song tone? Who can imagine and believe that I have a sing-song tone? I tell a story. I think I was somewhere in Charleston back in the day, and I was at the center. Actually, it was a center-based person, and I went, and I was about 33, 34, and the person that I was going to visit was about 35. And I caught myself mid-paragraph talking to him like a child, right? I mean, it wasn't intentional on my part, right? But I did. But I was able to turn it around, right? Are we allowing individuals to speak up for themselves? So those are some tough questions, right? And think about your staff and how, what do they think and believe, right? We've got staff that are, you guys are grasping at straws for staff, and I get it. So, how can we help them believe and think differently? Did you know that most of us are biased against people with disabilities and do not know it, and definitely don't intend to be, right? Some of the things we don't even know we're doing until somebody points it out. And this is a systems issue. It's not a provider issue on your part. It's a people issue. It's not you and me, but we can make the change. We can turn the corner by being aware of these things, right? Here's some examples of limiting beliefs about the individuals we serve. They have exaggerated difficulties. Boy, I need to fix my PowerPoint, right? Just like the video, right? Oh, it's so great you were able to buy your own toilet rolls, right? I love all of those examples because they're so true, and it's what really happens, right? We need to set goals on what they cannot do. Our folks should be choosing their goals and working on things they want to work on. If you've been with me in day, you know that we threw that baby out with the bathwater, that we're doing an assessment and we're going to focus on all the things someone can't do, whether or not they want to do them or not. That's gone. We removed that stipulation, right? We want goals to be written with the person and about what they want to do, not about what they're not able to do. Think about it. They were born with a disability. The doctors were telling the family, you can't, they won't do this. They're not going to be able to. They go to school. What's on the IEP? Everything negative. Well, this behavior, and they can't sit still, and they're not doing this, and we got to have them do this. Nothing about the person. Move on to middle school, even worse. High school, transition goal, toilet training. Well, that is no transition goal, right? I mean, what we've always, and the person has always been assessed and goals been created on things they cannot do. We want to shift that. Hopefully, when we make that shift, there's less behavior issues, right? There's less acting out. And I don't know about y'all, but if somebody's making me work on something I don't want to work on, I could certainly show out, with that and have a behavior, right? Or at least have something to say about it, right? So we're hoping with this shift in thinking that also the individuals are going to have a more full life, and they're focused on what the things they want to do. If they're never going to be able to tie their shoes, or they've been working on it for the past 12 years, get them slides, right? It's fine. That's what we want to happen. We want them to be independent with putting their own shoes on. So another limiting belief is that they're helpless. Vulnerable, that's a hard one because we do know they're at high risk for a lot of different things, including abuse, neglect. So we'd have to be careful with that. But they also, our folks have to be allowed to take risks like we are. They're dependent and they're innocent. Well, I know I've got residential in here, and we know good and well that our folks know the right things to do and the wrong things to do at times. Maybe not every single time, but they certainly know wrong from right. So another limiting belief, they are inspirational, overcoming in the areas that are normal. And we talked a little bit about that, by being able to pay at the movies themselves and pay at the grocery store themselves or shop by themselves. Certainly we know our folks have opinions and beliefs and want to do things for themselves. So states lower in disability prejudice have higher disability employment rates. Isn't that amazing? I don't think that's a surprise, probably, especially to our employment folks out there, right? The more folks are out there, and one of the things we're trying to do tomorrow, right, is to show off all the wonderful things that our folks, even though they might have a disability of some sort hanging around, all the things that they can do and are able to do, even though they're struggling with things. We all struggle with things, right? And sometimes their disability is just able to be seen on the outside. So I love that. I think, again, going back to it being unintentional, right? And I would wonder, and you guys put in the chat, do you feel like our society, our restaurants, our movie theaters, our malls really support disabilities at this point? For example, some people can't go to the movie theater because they're deaf, and then maybe the movie theater hasn't provided closed captions for the movies that our folks want to see. Is that still a thing? People can't go to a cafe if they have visual limitations because there's no braille or electronic menu options, right? This one I hope we've overcome, but a person can't work here because the employer says, well, we don't have a lift or a ramp for them to get to work. Anybody got any thoughts? Are we still seeing some of those kinds of things out there? I mean, certainly we have a lot of work to still do. Just wondering if you guys are seeing some of that.
I think on my end, I mostly see it from the parents. Or legal guardians who still have those kind of beliefs.
Right.
I think that's mainly where I see it from right now.
Yeah. Anybody else? Any thoughts? I think we, probably know that sometimes the families can be be a barrier to independence.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Yeah.
And good morning, everyone. I see it from the employment standpoint with employers, even going in and doing some job development and just information interview, they still had the stigma that the person cannot work independently. And going in there and proving them wrong is what I get excited about.
Oh, I love it. Yes. And so after the training happens, have you had a situation where the employer comes back and says, wow, okay, got it?
Absolutely. So again, going in with the mindset is that even with job carving, they may can't do every component of a job, but if you can give them the opportunity to do this component and then build upon that. And once we did that, they started looking at us as their employer agency to assist them with finding more employees that fit their job description.
I love it. I love that. Yeah. Anybody else? Well, changes have happened, right? Probably not enough. Did I cut somebody off? Okay. It's now the law to do different, right? And even though it's now the law, we should still be doing different. Even though the Rehab Act of 73 was put in place to offer equal opportunities in all areas of life, in our case, for people with disabilities, there were not clearly defined rules/guidance on how to execute and engage in the right activities to make this happen. So in 2016, some very smart people realized changes, additions, specific guidance needed to be created, and the final rule started a national whirlwind of changes. We've talked a lot about the final rule, and you guys have heard a lot about it. I am 100% certain it is not new, but it's the right way, right? Not only is it the final rule, it's the right way to treat people with or without disabilities. Right? So we'll just go through it very quickly. The final rule ensures that in all areas of life, people with disabilities are provided supports that promote access to the broader community, meaningful control over daily life, deciding what to eat and setting their own schedule, right? They can go get that burrito at 3 a.m. It's okay, right? Personal relationships, including relationships with people without disabilities who are not you guys, right? How can we help them make some friends and support them in that way? And the ability to have visitors at any time, which can be tricky, I recognize. Choices about what services they receive and who provides them. That's a big one under the final rule. Opportunities for competitive integrated employment should be provided at all times, and opportunities for self-directed individualized support. So, one thing does not fit everyone anymore, right? We need everyone. This is Ed Roberts. He was the first wheelchair user to attend I guess that's the University of California, Berkeley, which he had to fight for because he was considered too severely disabled. He's considered the father of the independent living movement, and I love his quote. We need everyone to develop high expectations for people with disabilities, allowing them to have control over their lives and to engage in meaningful aspects of life and participating in their communities by working, right? Even if it's not full time, it doesn't have to be. But employment changes people's lives, right? So what does this actually look like for you guys? DSPs can meet neighbors and volunteer to help someone else, right? We're really up here trying to move away from the word consumer, right? Because what does a consumer do? They consume. And y'all, really, I was using consumer until I stopped and thought about it for a minute. I mean, it's been years and years, right, that we've been using this word. But when you think about it, it's like, oh, well, that means they're just taking and not giving back. And we don't want them just to have services anymore. We want to show their worth by letting them volunteer at the neighbor's house and rake leaves. Right? We want them to show up at the office Christmas party with the potato salad and chips, if that's what they want to bring, right? We want to hold them rights and responsibilities, right? There's rights and also there's responsibilities, societal responsibilities, because you're a person of working age. You should be doing things similar to work, if not working, right? Not full time, but things. Identify community clubs, activities, and join. A lot of you guys take people to the YMCAs, right? It's great to have a yoga class that you're building, but it's so great also to be able to have a community center that they might meet a friend that goes to yoga every day, right? Creating DSPs can help them create their own routines. They can help them learn new skills that haven't been assessed to be a need. Exposure, right? We talk a lot about, in my day trainings, about exposure. If you don't know what someone likes, just start by exposing them to different things. It might be, especially for a new person coming into one of your programs, you don't know what they've been through. You don't know what they've not had the opportunity to see or have or be. Right? So just exposure, that's enough. A DSP exposing people to help, to different activities, to different areas outside, to all kinds of different activities. that is a need. That's a goal. That can be a goal, right? Learning to use public transportation is a big one. If you have it in the area, I know a lot of you do not have public transportation, and that's hard. Transportation, just like employment, opens up a whole new world for individuals. I mean, think about it, right? When your car is in the shop, how awful is that trying to figure out how to get to the store, how to get, how to pick up something you need, how to run out somewhere. It's terrible, right? And so imagine the smallness of your world if you did not have a way to get places. Go to see your friends. DSPs can help individuals establish and maintain healthy relationship with friends at home, in the day program, and in the community, right? Nothing is earth-shattering here. You guys are already doing all this. This is just a reminder, right? DSPs can help individuals use banking apps, learn to use the ATM, learn to use Uber, learn to do whatever makes their heart sing, right? Bargain shop, hunt, coupon. I know everything's digital now. I still like my Sunday paper, but help them think about saving money and budgeting for that new item that they want. I mean, the list is endless, and I know that you guys are already doing this. Can anybody share a goal that you've been recently helping a person with that is outside of the box? Something kind of off the chain, different, that might not be hygiene or money management. Somebody came to me the other day with a goal, and the person wrote it, and I think it's an independent living skills provider, y'all, and the person had written their own goal, and it said, I need help with my attitude. That was the goal, right? I love that. Because if we all know you need help with your, right? We can pick out the people that need help with their attitude. But the fact that the person said it, I was impressed with that. So
Kevin Staley is doing with one of the individuals he serves is using Uber or Lyft as a goal. Very cool.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's so much better now because they have the little blinking light and we don't have the terrible, fear of what's, safety as much. I think that's awesome. I love that. It really opens up the world.
I think one of the we have, which is, I think you said it earlier and you were talking, Miss Becky, about today's society becoming so electronic. And so we're trying to teach an individual how to use modernized technology to pay those bills. Like rent is now on the computer,
Yeah.
those types
Oh,
of
wow. Yeah. Hey, does anyone have to teach their staff how to do some of these things before the staff can teach the folks?
technology, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably something, that we all could benefit from. I'm not sure I would know how to pay my rent online. I think I still use a checkbook at my house. And that tells you how much I'm really involved anyway with my stuff. So y'all are learning all kinds of things about me. But it's something to think about, right? We want our folks to be up and on the cutting edge of stuff, and some of our staff also need that. And Carrie would tell you the same up here, that we need to be on the cutting edge of using different things. So I love that. DSPs can help individuals be free from coercion, which is talking someone into doing something they don't want to do. How often does that happen? Right? Be allowed to make mistakes after talking to them about consequences, right? The dignity of risk. I mean, you're going to have consequences. Make sure they're learning something from them when that happens, if they make the wrong decision. And they have the right to file complaints or grievances. We know that. DSPs can help individuals increase dignity and respect by assisting with grooming and dressing while allowing people to be who they want to be. Right? I mean, I know people get to choose what they want to do and all that, but having a confidant, a buddy, the DSP to tell me I really shouldn't wear blue eyeshadow, it might be a good idea. It don't look the best on me and somebody might make fun of me, right? We don't want our folks to stick out. We want them to be individualized. We don't want them to stick out, right? DSPs can help individuals increase dignity and respect by not talking about others and not sharing others' personal information in the earshot of surrounding folks, right? Gossip. Involve their circle of support in life decisions, right? We know that that's a big one. It's hard to get people together for a plan meeting that are church members, right? Or the neighbor that's really taken an interest. But it's worth it in the end, right? Continue to ask questions of the individuals. Don't assume you know all the ways an individual may answer. And if y'all know me, you know I tell the story about I've worked with the same people for 15 years. When I was doing their assessment, I just anticipated everything. And sometimes I was in a rush, and sometimes I didn't do a good job of really diving deep, thinking they're not the same person that they are as they were last year, right? I'm not the same person. I hope I'm not the same person I was last year. But I made the mistake of thinking I knew someone so well that I didn't have to do an in-depth assessment or ask them what was different this year. And that's wrong. It's wrong. We all make mistakes, and we can just move on and learn from them and be better for it, right? Final thought, you can apply the principles of your own expectations in life to those who are receiving services. Put yourself in their shoes, right? Put yourself in their shoes. If they want that cigarette, they gonna go get it, right? If you're a smoker, you can understand that. Is it the right choice? Would we choose different for people? Sure. Would I choose different for my kids? Sure. Right. But we've got to let, our adult folks make their own decisions and put ourselves in their shoes, right? Ask yourself if the rules being imposed on the individuals we serve would be acceptable to you in your own life. And would you hire you to work with individuals supported? Right? The lesson that I continue to learn every day is that people with disabilities will always surprise us by exceeding barriers. If we raise the bar, we know this. We know this. If we raise the bar, we will get more. And that goes for people, right? Not just people with disabilities. It goes for people in general. And I hope that we can one day get to that distinction of just talking about people we support and not about the disabilities all the time, right? But it's a mind shift, and it takes a lot because, societal thoughts and also, we were here just to caregive for folks. We've made a lot of changes. And also we've got a long way to go. So that is what I have. I did want anybody comment, go ahead. I want to sort of bring this around to something I recently added, and it is not pretty, okay? But I want to hear your thoughts about this piece because it's really brand new stuff and it's nothing major again. But I wanted to bring our expectations sort of around into goal writing, right? So how we're expecting more, and so why are we writing meaningful goals for people with disabilities, and why should we be, right? So, and this might be something you can take, and maybe we make it pretty and send it out. And then when you're talking about documentation, and those of you who are doing documentation at your agency, maybe it will be something to share, right? But why do goals matter? Goals are more than the paperwork, right? It is a piece of paperwork, and yes, it matters. And does Medicaid want us to be working on goals that are on the plan in order to build? Yes, it is all of that. But they also provide direction and purpose, right? Making it a meaningful goal will provide a direction in which to go and a purpose for that person. You can feel good about goals. I mean, how many of us in January, I try to do it in February, like make up some goals for ourselves throughout the year, right? It's important. We some of us really thrive on the goal writing as well. So think about that in terms of the individuals we support. It's a roadmap for growth and for independence, because if that person next year this time is an inch more independent than they were this past year, we've made a difference. their life has been enhanced. The quality has gone up, and we've been successful with that, right? Goals help individuals move toward the life they want. Sometimes, y'all know, I get some calls from some of your people, right? And they're always wanting to live out on their own, right? I really want to live on my own. I know before they even tell me or before I even talk to you guys, and I will always talk to you about who's calling me, y'all. You'll never have a surprise, okay? But I will talk with you guys, and you guys will tell me, well, they need to work on medicine and they need to work on this and they need to work on that. Sometimes putting that goal in there and letting the individual know that we are working towards it is all they need to hear. Maybe they'll never get there 100%, but if they can make a little bit of strides, and what I've found is if the person knows that you're working towards something with them, hand in hand, going down the path, it makes a difference. If they don't think that you're working with them on becoming more independent, they feel discouraged, they feel disrespected, right? We know that. So even just telling them, even then on the plans, just putting some independence goals in there can help that person feel better. Talking about you guys being life coaches, right? And encouraging this personal growth, because really everything we're doing for the people that we support is about personal growth, right? Every person has the right to grow and learn. Growth builds confidence and skills. Growth supports relationships and community inclusion, right? So not only are we helping the person become more independent and grow, society, the community, the neighborhood that doesn't like us, the people at the mall, the whoever is running up on us is getting to see people look differently, right? People we support are changing. People we support are doing more of the same things that anyone else would do. And I think that's important. Growth leads to greater independence and opportunities, right? So we're working on some employers, right? Jennifer, you've got now the employer sees what you can do. And so now what has happened is you've opened up opportunities for other people. And I love that, right? Our responsibility, right? Oh, I know I'm not in presentation mode. Sorry, y'all. Our responsibility, right person-centered, meaningful goals with the person. Let them choose their goals. No, it's a little bit trickier in residential because we really have to focus on training and skills training and supervision and care and all of that. So I get it. What can you write that person would really want to work on? I know they need to learn how to clean up behind themselves and do their showers and hygiene and all of that. But what else could we add to it that might be exciting? Focus on strengths and potential. Support the real life outcomes, not just compliance, right? We're writing a goal for compliance, and I get it. And it is a big deal when Alliant comes, when post-payment comes, right? And also let's put some oomph behind the goals too, to make it that real life outcome, right? Create opportunities and purpose and possibility. Setting the foundation for success. When we write strong goals, we're encouraging the growth, we're promoting independence, we're supporting meaningful lives, we're helping people change and do different and live better, and building a future full of possibility. So hopefully that bridged a little gap about expectations for you guys.